The story we have before us is probably a familiar one to many of you. It comes up every year in the assigned readings, the lectionary, and this year's version comes to us from the Gospel of Mark. We heard it read a few moments ago, and as the story goes, Jesus and 3 disciples go up a mountaintop where Jesus is transfigured, revealed in all his glory and all his majesty. And Moses and Elijah are there with him too, helping to recognize and identify him as the one who was expected, the one who was promised. It's an incredible story. The location of the story is important because it comes right after a very important moment in the gospel. A line in the sand moment, a change of direction moment, a moment where Jesus and the disciples are at a town called Caesarea Philippi, and it's there where Jesus for the first time says to them, my mission is going to involve some suffering. My mission will involve rejection, even death. Now, prior to this time, it's been all good. Big crowds, much loved, much adoration, very popular. And the disciples thought they knew what they were getting into. This is going to be all glory and no cost. And then Jesus said there's going to be a lot of cost, and glory won't even necessarily come in this life. And so he wants to give them some added strength and courage. It's sort of like courage education moment for Jesus, bringing those disciples up so that they will know who it is they are teaching about, spreading the love of, building the kingdom for. He wants to make sure they know who he really is. And so there they go, up the mountain, and he is going to give them an experience that they will never forget. And it will help them to get through very difficult times to come. You know, this story has been popular and told and retold in the church for 2,000 years for that very reason. At times when we are facing difficulties, challenges, discouragement, fear, that story can help us to remember who Jesus is and the strength and the power that he brings that will help us to get through and do the right thing and do what needs to be done. Don't you wish you could have been there up on that mountaintop? It was an experience the ancient Celtics would call a thin place, a place where the distance between heaven and earth seemed to somehow be thinned out, and they were in the presence of the holy. It is an experience that one theologian has called a Christophany. It's not just a theophany, but it's the time in which Christ is revealed for who he really is. And for them, the first time, they can be completely convinced of that. Don't you wish you could have been there? Seeing Jesus, seeing Moses, seeing Elijah, seeing this brilliant transfiguration, pointing to what will happen once they come back down, helping them to know what lies ahead. And if we were there, it would have given us that same strength. It is a moment that could be defined as a be moment as opposed to a do moment. You know, when I think of our life of faith, to be honest, most times I think of what Christ has called me and us to do in response to what God has done in Christ. There's a lot of do in our religion, but today this story is a be moment. Just be in the moment. Be present. Be open to what God is doing. Receive this great gift of God. And you know, that be and do, sometimes we get too much of one and we need to balance it out. Sometimes if we get a little confused and we're all one and not enough, it helps to remember a song by a great theologian named Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra. And he sang a great song to help us sort this out, of how to balance those out. The song goes like this. You ready? It goes, doobie doobie doo, be doobie doobie. That joke would work a lot better if we were all together in the church, because one of you would start laughing and maybe get a few others joining in. The doobie doobie doo cycle in this story is on B. Don't worry about what Christ is calling us to do. Just enjoy the moment. Don't you wish you could have been there? We weren't there. We weren't there to be filled with awe and wonder at the glory of the Lord. But that does not mean we are bereft of experiences of God appearing to us, of Christ coming to us, and evoking in us that same response of awe and wonder. If we take time to look around and really see the presence of the Lord. Now, I got an email a while ago from a list I'm on called the Greater Good Science. I like these people, and it's not a spiritual website, and yet how many times it overlaps with our faith. They draw a lot on social science, cognitive science to help us with well-being, being healthy. One article said, here are 5 skills we're going to need to get through 2021, because 2020, to be honest, it beat us up. A lot of us are just still dragging and crawling and wondering what happened. And they say, out of their research, here's 5 things that really are going to help us get through this year. Here they go. Humility, compassion, purpose, love, and get this, the 5th one, awe. Awe. We need more awe in our lives if we are going to live healthy, fully, joyful lives. It comes to us from the scientists. Do you ever feel awe these days? Do you ever feel wonder? I bet all of us can remember times in the past when we were filled with those experiences, just being kind of overwhelmed with how beautiful and amazing and incredible something was. Do you have those experiences anymore? Well, these scientists have suggested we can cultivate awe. We can actually create opportunities in our lives to experience awe similar, I think, to what the disciples experienced up on the mountaintop. Here's what a scientific study helped to reveal how to cultivate awe. In this study, there were a number of people divided into 2 groups. They were told, take a walk. One group was told, take a good brisk walk. Walk at a good pace. Exercise, get healthy. The other group was told, walk slowly. Look around. Look for beauty. Look for wonder. And then they checked in on the results of those 2 different approaches. The people in the second group were amazed at how much they saw, how much beauty was around them when they really took the time to see it, how much awe they were able to experience on a simple walk, a simple hike, because they were open to it. The results of feeling more awe on what the scientists called an awe walk. You can take an awe walk. The results were measurable. Folks in the second group felt more alive. They felt more humility. They felt more generous, and they were less self-centered. They saw themselves as smaller, but important in part of a greater whole. It's incredible what awe can do in our lives if we allow ourselves to feel it. What fills you with awe? Can you think of anything? What fills you with wonder? What fills you with amazement? Scientists in setting up these awe experiments say, two things help. One is vastness. If we can be in nature or experience, panoramas, mountains, beauty, and also novelty helps to do new things, see new things, or see old things in new ways. Can we find Christ revealing himself to us today in ways that fill us with awe and wonder, just as he did 2,000 years ago up on a mountaintop? And can we find Christ revealing himself to us today during a pandemic, while it is 0 degrees outside? Can we, while we are largely confined to home, experience awe and wonder in the presence of God? I was thinking about this, and just a couple of things came to my mind, things that fill me with absolute wonder. Certain artwork, I'm going to hold one up. I just got my new journal. The artwork of Vincent van Gogh is spirit-filled artwork. I can just sit and look at a starry night and breathe in very deeply and be filled with wonder at the beauty of God and the beauty of creation. When I take the time to listen to, it's one of my favorite pieces of music, a classical piece, very short, called the Moldau, a river that lazily runs through the city of Prague. I listen to that and I close my eyes and I'm on a boat and I'm just breathing in deeply the presence of God. And I just feel this sense of wonder and awe and beauty. How about you? We can't go to the mountaintop. The Transfiguration was one and done. And yet Jesus is revealing himself around us constantly, inviting us to stop doing and do more being. Today we celebrate Jesus on a mountaintop. And may you and I find ways where we can have some of those mountaintop experiences of Jesus right here, right today, where he can take our breath away and fill us with all the good things that come with being wonder-filled people. Life has been awful in a lot of ways. He invites us to a life that is awesome. I really hope and pray for you today. Whatever you're going through, whatever pains you're feeling, whatever doubts you're feeling, whatever fears or uncertainties you face, that you can breathe in deeply and find a way to simply be in the presence of God. And may God fill you with awe and wonder and amazement.